Hello, hi. Am I recording? Yes. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a solo episode, and I thought I need to give you some life updates that's going on. And also, this would be a great opportunity for both of us to connect and get to know each other. If you are interested in getting to know the person who is hosting the podcast, then please keep watching. Let's talk about the podcast itself. I think this last 1 year, we have been having a lot of theoretical knowledge when it comes to spirituality and how to live life and so on. And now in season 2, which is this year, I want to go more out into the world and try to understand how people are living a more spiritual life. And in my head, I think someone who is spiritually aligned is someone who is following their dharma, their soul purpose, and then making something out of it instead of following the 9 to 5. I mean, I am following the 9 to 5, yet I'm still doing the podcast. So I know that fundamentally at a cellular level, this is something I got to be doing. Okay, my headphones are falling back up in a second. Part of that, I invested in the Zoom PodTrack 4, and I'm so excited to show this off to you. So this is around 600 dirhams. What it does is you can basically use this and travel anywhere you want. You can connect 4 of the headphones here, and you can connect 4 mics over here. You don't need a power supply. You can use batteries. So you can use batteries, and you can also plug in an SD card over here in this slot. So in this way, you are saving it. You don't have to upload anything to the cloud like how I used to do before. What I used to do before is I need to have a laptop that is connected to a power supply and to the internet for me to record anything. So now I don't need that anymore. So this has given me like wings to fly. I can literally go to anybody's house and just start recording the podcast. So it's amazing. And this is called the Zoom PodTrack P4. Let me know if you are interested in knowing more about behind the scenes of the podcasting process. If you are interested in becoming a podcaster, what is the tech setup that is required, or the struggles that I'm facing, which by the way is quite a lot. So if you want to know more about it, let me know in the comments below, and I would be more than happy to put out an episode or 2 about it. The second update is that I recently had the opportunity to travel to Maldives. Maldives is a country which I thought belonged to Sri Lanka, actually, to be honest with you. But it is a country on its own, which is crazy. When I went there, oh my God, while I was on the seaplane, looking down at the atolls are what they call the islands, the tiny islands. When I saw it from the top, I knew in my head that this was Lemuria. And Lemuria is the civilization that I'm not so interested in because I think Atlantis is the one that a lot of the people are more interested in. So I was not into Lemuria, but it was like I knew in my heart, this is Lemuria. 100%. Lemuria. Oh my God. And then once I landed at the atoll, which is the tiny island, we stayed in J.A. Manafaro. The color of the ocean, the turquoise oceans. The sky, I was in a different reality, a different simulation where I got an upgrade in the game. Everything was pristine. It was as if this is how Gaia was as a child. Before she was destroyed and all of her ego attachments came through, this is what Mother Gaia looked like. It was so beautiful. And prior to this, in the last 2 to 3 years, in fact, I always have this sort of, not even 2 to 3 years, I think 5 or 7 years, I have this restlessness in my body all the time, which is even one of the reasons why I started getting into meditation and yoga and all of these other healing practices and wanted to know what this is. Because I'm always anxious, I'm always jittery. I need to sit and meditate for 2 or 3 hours for me to just feel normal, not even like blissed out state, just to be normal and not get pissed off with people or react in ways that I don't want to react or regret later. But the 4 days I spent in Maldives, I did not feel the need to meditate. In fact, I thought I would probably sit and meditate in Maldives because I've been doing Ashtanga yoga consistently and I do it all the time. I didn't feel the need to sit and meditate or yoga or journaling, nothing. And I felt so at peace. In fact, I was getting restless thinking about the fact that, oh my God, this is going to end soon and I have to come back to Dubai. That's what I was feeling. There was energies that was so palpable. It was so evident that these were energies that were speaking to people who go there. So like it spoke to me. There were so many lessons that I got from the wind, the oceans, and I always play calming binaural beats in the background. There I didn't need to because the ocean waves were there all the time. I sleep listening to the ocean waves. Just you have that playlist on Spotify where you listen to soothing ocean waves to go to sleep. That's exactly how it was there. It was so beautiful and gorgeous. If you get the chance to, please go there. And it's true when they say nature heals you, because it healed me. I try to do grounding by walking in the tiny lawn in front of my house, or I go to the park, but this is nothing like what real nature is. Here in the atoll, you can finish walking the entire island within like an hour or so. So it's like it's you and the island, and you are disconnected from the rest of the world. It was so beautiful. I wanted to create things. In fact, I got so much more clarity on how I wanted to take the podcast forward. Even wrote the title of my book. Yeah, I even wrote a title for my book, and I think I'm going to write it as well. It was so beautiful. Once I came back, I decided I couldn't shake this feeling off. It was like I was, you have this sort of orgasmic experience with the universe as a whole. That's what I felt. And I came back and I couldn't shake it off. And I was still blissed out thinking about it. I was still trying to play the ocean waves because I didn't want to forget what it felt like. And I started researching about it. I started looking for books on Lemuria. And I bought this first book, which is an ebook by the most respected channeler that you know, Cryon and Monica Muriani. I bought the book called The Women of Lemuria, and it validated every single thing that I felt. I swear, I'm not joking. When I started speaking about what is written in the Women of Lemuria book, SD card got full and it stopped. This is the same thing that happened when I had my interview with Hannah Sophia Siddiqui, and we were speaking about, our conversation was about princes and goddess energy. And the moment I started talking about Lemuria, my mic stopped working again. So I'm just going to try it again and let's see what this is. This is definitely not a mistake, and this is definitely, okay, synchronicity is something to do with it. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll find out later. Probably this is just a sign for them to tell me that what you're saying is true as well. I don't know. I came back and I started researching about Lemuria, and every single thing that I felt was validated through this book. The book says that Lemuria was actually a civilization that existed and went down 30,000 years ago. It was advanced, but not technologically, but spiritually. Atlantis was a civilization that was advanced on a technological basis, but in Lemuria, people knew how to heal you without the requirement of an MRI machine because they knew everything intuitively. They were able to know what were the constellations or the stars not because they had advanced telescopes, but because they could see those things as well intuitively. And the part that will shock you is that Lemuria was ruled by women. That's right. And I knew this because once I was there, I usually prayed to Our Father or Jesus Christ because I was raised a Christian. But once I was there, I had this constant reverence for Mother Gaia. I wanted to pray to Mother Gaia. I was constantly talking to her and telling her, thank you so much for the abundance that you've given me. Help me, show me what I could do to give this back to you, to take care of you, to protect you. Because for the first time while I was there, I saw what a baby Mother Gaia would look like, because she was pristine, she was beautiful, vibrant. Some of the things that stands out in Lemuria is that the women were connected spiritually, and the men knew that this is what it is, because spirituality is inherent to women. And men were connected to Mother Gaia, which means they were the ones who took care of the practical things. And they both, men and women, there were ceremonies where men and women would share the knowledge that they have and the wisdom that they have with each other. Because this was an ocean, which by the way, I didn't know that Lemuria was an island and that they lived near the shores. There, the men has to go fishing. One of the other things is my grandfather is actually a fisherman. Like the way the whole thing connects. Wake up in the morning, and the first thing that would happen is the women of the civilization would hold ceremonies, and then they would tell the men intuitively where to go and look for fish, whether the weather was good for them or not. Based on their direction and guidance, the men would go and fish and then come back. So the men have deep reverence and respect and gratitude to the women, because it's the women that saved many of their lives. Fishing is such a risky job. You never know what could go wrong. So this is how it worked over there. I have also been knowing intuitively that the way we are having discussions around what is a role for a man and what's a role for a woman is not right. And when I read that it was the women who led the community in a civilization where it's the women leading, everybody gets a place. It's not like how it is where patriarchal society is, where it's always hierarchy and there's a role and there's a leader at the top. No, in women, they all work in circles. There was so much respect that was given to the ancestors and the elders. A lot of care that was given to the kids, because the kids, when they go for education and training, the mothers accompany them. I don't think that's happening right now. I don't think our civilization gives enough respect to the elders, nor do I think the children are given enough attention and care for. I want to be holding more of these ceremonies, more of these women's circles where we get in touch with our intuition. A lot of us are so focused and distracted by what the men is not doing, and we are finding faults in them, when in fact we do not know yet or discovered yet the abilities that we have, the psychic abilities, the innate wisdom that is within us, the spiritual gifts that is within us. This is what requires so much focus and attention on. This is what makes us unique, and this is what makes us special. And once you start operating in this goddess energy, then automatically the relationships that you're looking for would come to you. It's bound to come to you. That was the second update. The third update, which is the biggest one for me, was I moved homes. So this is huge. I see it because I see this happening a lot with so many people around me, where they've been asked to move out of their current homes, or they're facing job losses, or they're going through a breakup or a divorce, or they stop talking to their friends. Like, major changes are happening to people. So earlier this year, when our landlord asked us to move out of our villa, which is this massive, gorgeous villa, we have around 4 bedrooms, a maid's room, 5 washrooms, a backyard, community parks, a lawn in the front. It's beautiful home. And this is where I had my daughter. This is where she celebrated 6 of her birthdays. This is where I recorded 54 of my podcast episodes in my home studio. This is where I have my badam tree in the back where I speak to and I do my yoga and meditation. So it was heartbreaking for us as a family when we got this news. And the first thought that came to my head was, why is this happening? Am I not vibrating high enough? Why is this happening? Is something wrong with my frequency? These were the terminologies that came to my head. Anyway, we started looking for places to move in. In order to rent another villa, the costs were too high right now. So we had no other option other than to move into the small, cute apartment, which is where I am recording this podcast episode from. Isn't it cute and nice? So this is where we moved in finally. What shocked me was once I moved in, I started to sleep so much more peacefully. I started to enjoy so much more peace, and I couldn't understand what was happening. So I asked my higher self one day, what is this? I thought that this was a major downgrade for me to move from this big villa into something that is small. And the answer that came to me, you will be surprised, was this is not a downgrade. This is called alignment. And that just made complete, perfect, total sense. If you watched the channeling session by Suzanne or the Joseph Collective, they speak about how important alignment is. When you are in alignment with your soul purpose, with your dharma, that's when you pick the timeline of highest peace. We constantly think that what makes us successful is the amount of abundance, materialistic wealth, or wealth in general that we have. But it's not that. What makes someone truly wealthy is the amount of peace that person has. And how do we get peace? When we chase alignment, not upgrades. When we chase alignment in every facet of our lives, such as our jobs, the relationships that we have, the home that we have, because we know that homes are also sentient, that there's a consciousness to it. And if the consciousness of the home doesn't match the consciousness of the people residing in the home, and if that is out of alignment, everything else will also go out of alignment. We are going through this transition period, which is painful. So if you're going through a job loss or a divorce or loss of homes, friends, family members, etc., I'm here to tell you that once you get through this difficult birthing period and you come over to the other side, you're going to be so grateful and so thankful, and you're going to look back and think, really? Is that what I thought was good? This is awesome. Because truth be told, although we moved into the home, which I thought was beautiful and wonderful, and I still think it is, we had moved in hoping to make space for the new in-laws that were going to come. Because this was the time that I was getting married, and I expected that there would be more new faces, new people. We're going to have so much more celebrations and things like that. But what actually happened instead was, this is the house that saw my divorce. This is the house that saw me cutting my ties off with my family members and my friends because of the divorce. It's the place where we got hit with COVID and my dad's business went through major financial losses. So this house saw us go through all of it and provided us with a warm embrace and her shoulders for us to lean on and cry on, where we got to spend so much time healing ourselves. It is a beautiful home, and this is what happened. And now that we are in alignment in a lot of the other parts of our life, aspects in our life, I think home would ideally be the next thing that needed to get into alignment. So I'm so happy that this has happened, and which is why you're going to see a little bit of delay in the episodes that's coming out. In fact, one of the reasons why I'm doing the solo episode is also to give you an update on this, because I don't have the podcast, the studio set up yet. The internet connection is also not set up. So for me to do a remote interview with the guest and then get the uploads correctly was also a little bit of a pain. So thank you so much for being patient with me. I'm going to conclude by saying that if you're going through a transition period where you think that it is difficult and it's sad, I'm telling you, please hold on. Just trust, surrender, and let go. Chase alignment, not upgrade. So if something is breaking down, understand that this is what alignment looks like. On the other hand, on the other side of it, it's going to be so blissful, so peaceful, and so wonderful. Thank you so much, you guys, for supporting this mission of bringing out universal truths to the world. This video has resonated with you, and if you found some value out of it, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Even if it didn't resonate with you, just subscribe to the channel, because when you subscribe to the channel, although you think that this is free and it is pointless, it makes a big difference. Because when I contact big guests like Bashar, Greg, Billy Carson, they always talk about and ask, how many subscribers do I have on the channel? And the more subscribers I have, the more they would say yes to us. And don't you want them to come on the podcast and speak to you? That's going to be super duper cool. So do subscribe to the channel, share the podcast episode with someone you know who you think is going to benefit out of it. Leave a like, a comment. The first time a video gets posted, if you like and comment on it, then YouTube algorithm would think that this is a good episode. We should probably share it with more people. Do turn on your notification bell, and thank you once again for being a part of this lovely community. I'm going to see you again next week. Speak to you again soon. Bye.